Hi, John here. Friday 19th of September 2014. Just the elections, Scotland, with the yes vote. Matt Taylor in Brighton, England. We're at a change of times now. We're going to watch this one because what happens is the Union Jack will disappear. Already in Australia they have no head of state after that, and Canada, and here in New Zealand. So you'll need a new flag in Britain, although this one, the King William flag, is more or less a England Westminster flag, and because it's still going to be around for some time, Matt, and so I'm saying it's more secure to have this in the meantime till it sorts itself out with Scotland, Ireland, Wales and England. What's coming to that time anyway, where we're on a par now with New Zealand and Britain, or more so Westminster, where the contract is in this flag. It's unlike the Navy Union Jack flag, that was only the union of those four countries to go through the will and invade other countries as a one empire. So it worked, but underneath it all, this was set up with the Rothschild banks. Okay, just let you know, it's a bank trading commercial lien mortgage flag. It was set up with the Rothschild families and Queen Victoria, because all the children that came out of Queen Victoria were Rothschilds. Okay, so they set the Reserve Bank up here from the original Maori Bank, Bank of Aotearoa Akaroa Bank, and went through to the BNZ, and then from there it went into the League of Nations, and then from the League of Nations it went to the United Nations. That's the pathway of the times I explained on the last video, where the trail from 1933, when they set this alight in America with then the UCC law, and then the paper money from there, from gold. The Rothschilds seized all the gold and then printed the money off. So all that racket started here, between this contract here and England, very cleverly hidden. So Matt and all those other guys, George Lees and John Patterson and Gordon Bowden, I'm just trying to strategize here with what we have in the power of this flag of King William, to make it work, make the flag do the work of commerce and banking, and to fit it into the economy of what Scotland has done now, split the whole place up. And because they have the lien instruments of mortgage and the brains to do it, and the backbone that built all these things up around the world, we're here, Matt, we're here to sort the Queen out, because that's where the problem is. And Alex Salmond wants to entertain her and have an audience with her as the head of state of Scotland, the government of Scotland. There's a problem there. We have a problem with that, with this flag, because in Westminster this flag should be up, Matt. It should be up because they're still using Victorian Principles in Westminster, and the Acts of Parliament from those two kings, King William III and IV, through Victoria to King George on this red cross. It's still going to be a red cross for some time yet, right? So that's what I'm saying. It'll be around for a while until it changes into something else. At the moment, the money's on this flag, as far as contracts go, as far as commercial land mortgage contracts go. That's what I'm going on about. Having the ability to fix that problem up at your end in England. Okay? So the Queen, while I'm on the subject of Australia having no head of state, makes them quite powerless in how they manage to get on the land and accumulate so much wealth, and New Zealand and Canada, and America for that matter, because America is driven by this this cabal of the Queen's as well, and the banks. Mostly the banks are controlling everything here, but that's about to change because we have the contract with the King's Bench in the upper House of Lords. Okay, so that's where this flag should be standing up in the House of Lords. Okay, because I've explained the significance of these Pacific region on the Commonwealth is what I'm trying to explain here, to keep it together, to keep the Commonwealth together in Britain, in Westminster, is this flag. This flag is going to do it with the 7 states in the Pacific and 1 for Britain, as we'll keep it Britain on this flag, right? Britain on this flag. More so that's Queen Victoria, one of the points, and the other points. This will be the Sheriff's badge, by the way. It'll have this star of 8 points, right? 7 here for seven parts in Pacific region, but that's the land mass there in that area. But on a whole, this is a world flag. It's a free passage flag through the world, Matt. And so we are going to incorporate Britain as still Britain, the new Westminster Britain, with Scotland going out and coming back in again. It would more or less have to reapply into the House of Lords, as my reckoning, to try to get back into the King's role, because the ultimate decision making has come from the King. The Queen is a convicted criminal felon by default of her actions that are now public, and all the rest of paedophilia in the family, and it's not a good look as far as a monarch goes. It's not very monarchy for the Queen to be highlighted in harbouring and being harboured with the crime around her, surrounded by crime. And I just saw on Facebook, Matt, I saw a gun of one of the guards, the guards of the palace, pointing the gun at a civilian. Now that's a sign that they've lost it because of the force of the Rothschilds banks force. They own Israel, right, by illegal means. Now that's going to change with this flag. Will change all that. It'll change all that in a court, in the High Court of Admiralty in London. When we go there, that will take precedent over what Rothschilds say. If they come up in court with this flag, man, they're going to be in trouble with liens on top of their heads, right, for any fraud that anybody can muster up and bring into the court with this flag flying is going to be in trouble, because that's the only contract flag there is in the commerce of banking and lien on land and birth certificates, everything that's listed in those Acts of Parliament of Westminster under King William. Okay, so that we're still in the lower house, remember that. We're still in the lower house now, going into the upper house with statute, it's institute law. And you'll see that in the Confederation, constitution, contract. Constitutions are contracts, okay? Just remember that. So we're going to use that constitution in those acts at that time, memorial, 1830 to 1837, still not changed with us. We haven't used this flag yet in commerce. We're about to. Okay, we're about to, under the laws of England, land laws of England. The same goes here, because they have no jurisdiction. With the Queen gone now, they have no jurisdiction from any source of monarch or sovereignty other than who was here the longest. That's what sovereignty means. It means, simply means, I was here for a long, long time. And so MOAI statute says, I'm still standing around for such a long time looking at you from here, where I stand on this land. Okay? So that's a reflection of our memorial, and we have King William giving us this to protect us in our business around the world. Okay? Right around the world, the Commonwealth is driven by this flag. That's why, if you're looking at all the flags that are fluttering around, and you find what the meaning is of all those flags, then that's the answer, man. That is the answer. I'm just telling you, that's the answer. We're lucky enough to have something permanent from a king, right? You have a look at the legislative acts. The king is mentioned, right, in the King's Bench, in the High Court of Admiralty, in the Queen's Bench, and also in the House of Lords. Okay? When all else fails, the King prevails in any decision making. So that's what I'm saying. I'm here to decide what happens next with Alex Salmon. I see he seems to be ahead, so I'm hoping that he will become independent, and his own sovereign self, because we'll be on the same level for a change, for once in my life, instead of too many people ganged up against us here in the Pacific. Okay, that's what's made our people scatter, and 7 parts of the Pacific scatter, right? That's what they came here and scattered the whole lot of them. That was you white people did that, okay? But nothing against white people now, because we just got to get on with each other, and the best one wins any argument in court or otherwise. My word against yours, right? That's how we operate. So that's the Queen is in an awkward situation, holding hands to Alex Salmon, because like fugitives, you're harbouring a fugitive, or you might not think she's a fugitive, but certainly a lot of people do. Okay, so there's a public perception of who she is and what she represents and what's meant to be under a flag, right? Under the British flag, she's actually belittled the British flag and the British people. So why hold her hand anymore, right? All you have to do is stick the flag up and get on with it, okay? Never mind the Queen, because that didn't work. Queen Victoria didn't work either. It just worked for a certain few, okay? The elite made the most out of it, and that's all that came to in America and Canada and New Zealand, Australia and Britain. and in Africa and India. So I think everybody's had enough of the Queen. Let's get on with it. So that's all I want to say, really, other than to just tell you, hopefully today, I think today, I have to get the warrant out. And Jamie's saying, hurry up. So, Uncle, hurry up and finish it off, because it just depends how I feel about writing and typing all the time. It's not a very good job, not exciting, but had to be done. And I like to go and get the machines going and do the real stuff, okay, real groundbreaking stuff on with the man, the machine, man and his machine, okay. So that's really what I wanted to say, is that we'll have the warrant off to the police today, Matt, and I will give one copy to the bank. I think it's about 80 pages now. Oh dear, it's getting bigger. But however, we've got it condensed right down to find out. There's only 2 pages, one front side and back side. That's the actual warrant. Okay, that's all that was needed to, with the citations on it, the acts that we go on, and issue it ourselves. I'll be meeting with, well, I'll be teaming up with Graham Elliott on Monday. I'll speak to him, the private investigator, ex-UK detective, and so I'll give him his copy, and so he can chew it over. There are a lot of words in it, but however you need that. You need a constitution, okay, Matt? It's a constitution contract. And our constitution is the 1835 Declaration of Independence, of sovereignty and monarchy flag, and with that it's written in the confederation of tribes here, and the chiefs at the time and now, in the interpretation of our contract. So that's all it is, and we've got the 1852 Constitution. So we got 2 constitutions. The 1835 Declaration of Independence, so that gave us our independence, it gave us authority, it gives us our own sovereignty, it recognises us as a one of the 20 states. That 20 of these flags went to the Prince Peter of Malta. Matt, I sent them with Mohi Manukau, okay? I sent them for 20 states. I guess that's the New World Order. That's what it's adding up to, you see. So I think that's what it's... Oops, the phone's ringing. So that's Sue Nicola from Gisborne. Anyway, I'll let it ring and finish this off. She's going to ring back again. So that's gone now. So sorry about that. That's our Maori government Prime Minister in Gisborne, just checking up to see how we're going on. So just a little plug for her. Waiting to go to the United Nations. Matt, that's the lady that's just ringing. She keeps on ringing me all the time. How are you getting on? How are you getting on, John? How are we doing? Anyway, that's the chiefs here going to the UN and to the Hague, the World Court, with their complaints. Okay, so I'm going to take a shortcut, Matt. I'm going straight to Westminster, because I don't need to go to the UN to borrow money. That's what she was going to do, but we've got to go there on the council anyway. But you go there, you're going to enter the war and pick a gun up and start shooting. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go straight to Westminster at top end with the Rothschilds and sort them out with their banking and what they're doing, what they're up to, what they're really up to, and the fraud and corruption in it. Right? So we're going to deal with that way, for the Commonwealth's sake, for Westminster's sake, for the new lords, or the old good lords. Lord have mercy on us if any of those lords are any good at that. So we're going to let that fizzle itself out, and then start again. I'm more concerned with the Constitution, the flag, our flag, right, Matt? Our flag. So you've got Scotland's going to put their own flag up. So you're going to have different flags. It's too hard to combine them again. You're going to have a new flag altogether. A new flag of who's in it. Wales, right? You've got Geoffrey Foley, Prince Regent, Lord High Constable, and Magistrate of Lord Hayden Castle. So you got him with Wales. Okay, he's a king. He's a king. So there's a king there, and then we got you, Matt. We got you for a king or whatever. Once I get there, and or John Patterson, or well, don't know where Greg Hallett is now. He's lost somewhere. Anyway, beside the by. Nevertheless, I'm going in there to speak for the king. Okay, I'm going there to say something. Okay, say something. Give my little tuppence worth of how things should be running. Okay, and the economy. I'm more concerned with an economy. I've got a good plan, and got this flag to go around the world, free passage. Okay, so these are all the benefits of this flag. If there's any other flag that can do this and put all the suggestions on the table in Westminster, then make a decision there about what's best for England and what's best for Britain to keep them together in a union, right? In a union to pick up the pieces of what's smashed about by yourselves, okay? So you managed to do that with us and split us up and break us up in pieces. Now you're breaking yourselves up in pieces, and so we're even Stevens, okay? We're even Stevens. So anyway, Constitution, flag, and jurisdiction, okay? Jurisdiction. So the jurisdiction, Matt, we've got the MOAI standing there. That's God's jurisdiction, right? This is real stuff. So had enough said about that. Then we've got the jurisdiction of this flag of a king, okay? Jurisdiction of a king, not the Queen. She's rubbished out now. There's not much left of her in media and opinions and what people's feelings are now, okay? It's the feelings of what the people say now. After this vote, we don't know yet, so a yes or a no. If it's a no, okay, not being negative, if it's a no, Matt, then you're going to stay with the devil you know, okay? So you get the same treatment of austerity and being told how high to jump, right, until something disastrously go wrong in the House of Lords, okay? If that's going to rearrange itself with new blood, then it's going to still be that fight amongst yourselves, and the rest of the world are not bothered. Right? The rest of the world is not bothered too much about what happens in Britain. Particularly Australia pulled out and gone on their own, see? So they're gone on their own, but the Queen's come around as a private person. See, she's a private person in a private business. That's why we're suing, we're billing the private person, Matt, because the Queen is more or less not ahead anymore, and I've got to go there to pull her out of our trust, right, and go as our trustee of the Queen Victoria Trust with this flag, with these stars, okay, with these stars. So we've got to tell you, we've got to tell the world, educate the world, how she managed to amass her wealth, accumulate all her wealth from the Commonwealth in the world with this flag. Because you can see now the Union Jack's falling apart. It wasn't that pulled the money in, it was this. Okay, it was this legacy of instruments, paper, instruments. The Navy can't have instruments about banks, Matt. It can only say how many sailors there are, how many soldiers got killed, and how many pieces of land they stole. That's all it can say. And apart from being medals and for being good to the Queen and shooting the place up. Okay? So this one here shows the mortgages. It shows the mortgages and the wealth in manifest. Okay? Manifest and bill of lading from port to port and shipping. HM Customs and Her Majesty's HM Treasury. What? Treasury. That's what this is about. And that's what my job is. To investigate the Treasury. Just what Alex Salmon said. We want an audit. Right? And others who want an audit on HM Treasury in Westminster. Because you, George, said it's emptied out. The Queen's emptied it out. I won't be surprised if she's emptied it out. Don't worry. This flag will get back the debtors levy. Okay? Print the money off and against the debtors levy, and that's the law. It won't change. You can't let a legislator act out of it because we're fixed institute law. Only us can change that. Me and the King, right? And the chiefs here. That's it. The chiefs here with the flag. Only the chiefs here and the King. Okay? Me and the boys. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's enough said. So for the elections, I am predicting a yes. That's what I feel should win. To give them a chance, to give Scotland freedom, because they won't be free after. You won't be free after that, because you'll be controlled by that. Okay, you'll be controlled by this red cross, right? Not a blue one, a red one. If you vote no, you'll be controlled by that. King George, okay, and King William, Black Seal. That's it. That's how it works. Okay, so Scotland, you want your blue cross? Vote yes. If you don't want your blue cross and your Scotland to think for itself, use its brains, because it built all this industry around the world. It's the backbone and the brains of mortgage titles. If you want to throw that away, you would have voted no. And suck off Westminster. Eh? Suck off mummy's tits. Like you should be weaned off. Like us. We got weaned off. You see? And we're on our own. We don't have much, but we've got a lot of land. We've got a lot of big, expensive land, no money. See? No, that's about to end. That's going to change. Because we got plenty of debts to solve and to square the account and to settle the debts with all the people who cause fraud. We got a fraud business running here, Matt. We got a private prosecution business running from the court online, right? We're just doing the first one and taking me forever to get through the first case, and being very careful to make sure to get the first one right. First impressions, and we'll be right after that. Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you later. Have a nice day, and hopefully me and my secretary, Jamie, will be off to England to come and see you guys. Okay, be looking forward to it. So we're going to have good feed of crayfish down the east coast, and some powers and kinners and some snappers, because that's what Timothy Reid said, right? He says, warn us, let us know. So we're going back to our ancestral lands, the MOAI ancestral lands, Hapu lands, at the East Cape, where the sun rises first in the world, and we're going to sit down and have a little talk and have some nice things to eat, and then off to England. And hopefully we're going to encourage the British military to come here, under this flag, okay? Under this flag flying on the boats. Okay, we've got some nice plans for boats. A ship, Matt, a submarine that goes on land, sea, and under the sea, one hit. Okay, it'll be installing the tidal turbines in the sea, this big machine. Okay, so we hope this flag is going to fly on the British military. Ships, planes, boats, trains. Okay, fly them on your cars, fly them everywhere, and it'll still be British. Okay, British. Nothing wrong with British. The only thing is the sun, what, gets to you last. We get it first. Okay, that's our little what do you call it? Our little power trove of energy. Okay, we get it first. We get the best parts of the sun first. You see, we're just about to use it, and plenty of ocean here. That's one thing, man. We got vast Pacific Ocean of resources. Scotland got 6% of the UK market, and so when they join us, just like now, when they join us, then it goes up really high, right, with the flag, right? Goes around the world and join all their Scotties up all over the world, and our little native boys, okay, little native boys and little native girls, okay. So like Jamie, she's got some Scotty in her, see? So she wants to find out why you fellas went and dropped her off here, right? And then took off and left her behind. Anyway, that's my mate. So, have a nice day. I'll just wait for the phone to ring again from Sue Nicora in Gisborne. She'll wonder why I didn't answer. Anyway, bye for now. See you later. Have a nice day.